Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. So I know it's been a while, and today I actually wanted to share one of the biggest topics that people have a lot of questions on, and that is how I really went from 21 cents to my name last year, January 2019, to the point where I'm at today with my agency and consulting business where it's doing 40K months, right? So that's the topic of the video, and that's what I want to talk about. And the reason why it could be so valuable to you, even if you're completely new or already at the 5 or 10K a month mark with your agency, it's literally everything I've learned over the past 1.5 years from, like different courses, different mentors, and literally everything I've went through myself, and just distinguished it in 5 things for you, as I said, more so on the mindset aspect, so you can just take it in, run with it, and just execute it in the practice side of things. But before I get into the video, I actually wanted to announce that a couple of spots have opened up on our calendar for the Agency Cultivation Mentorship Program. So if you're actually interested in that, in leveling up your agency, it's for people that are just new or people that are already at a 5 or 10K a month mark with their agency or consulting business, you can simply go ahead, schedule a call. You'll be speaking personally with myself or one of my highly trained team members. So without no further ado, let's dive right into the video. So in this video, I just wanted to talk about like 5 key things that, don't have a lot to do with the technical side of, like starting an agency or a consulting business. Because if you're actually interested in that, you can go ahead, watch one of my other videos. It's how to build your SMMA and scale it in 42 days to 20K a month. So that's one of the videos. You can just click on our channel, go ahead, check it out. But in this video, I wanted to talk about these 5 key things that have worked extremely well for me to, really go from that point A to point B with my own starting point to where I'm today. So the first one is just mindset. And mindset surely is one of a hell of a big spectrum, right? But these are truly the ones that I found the most important and most life-changing in practice, right? So the first one is your self-image. And there's actually a great book I want to recommend that I got recommended by my mentor, Trey Cockrum. The book Psycho-Cybernetics, written by Maxwell Maltz, talks about self-image and, how most of the people in society and also a lot of entrepreneurs that are intermediate, just have a poor self-image, which cause, low self-esteem, less confidence, and therefore a less enjoyable life because it just decreases the quality of it if your self-image is really poor on various aspects, right? So that's the first one. And once you have awareness of that and actively change it, it will help you in different facets of life. When it comes down to doing your outreach, doing your sales calls, or even presenting a presentation in front of your team members, whatever it may be, right? So actually, to leave this into your hands, I would love to recommend a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I'll actually go ahead, put it in the description on an Amazon sale, so you can go ahead, purchase it if you want to, the ebook, the Kindle, whatever. I'm not affiliated with it. It's just a great book. And then the second thing is the perception, right? And perception is a big word as well, but especially the perception you have on life and, how you perceive that. Because we all have a certain way of thinking, and we solely only as an individual think that everyone thinks the way we do, right? And that is anything but true. And a really key thing to understand with the perception, it's, how you perceive certain things. There's this quote I kind of like, and it's not really a cliche because it's really, really true. It's whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, right? And a lot of people think that building a business is extremely hard. And then you have people just starting out with a simpler perception over it. And, they just seem to kill it because, they just don't think too complex. And the problem with this too, with a lot of people just coming from, college or universities, is that they're so used to academic thinking. And, that just adds a lot of complex variables to the way of, writing out things, doing things, and executing them in practice, because academic thinking is not really practical. And you'll probably hear me a lot through this video say practice, practical, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters if you want to build a business that actually generates result, right? And then personal development. So I've invested into various amounts of mentors, actually 2, not that much. Trey and Quasio here, they're 2 of my mentors, and I really look up to them, right? And what this did for me, personal development from a mentor, personal development wise, is really that it just shortcut a lot of the things that I was not seeing right? As I said, perception. When you get an objective point of view from someone else that actually sees the thing the right way, instead of what we always perceive that what we think is right, then you can move a lot faster, and therefore it will shortcut your progress and actually get you from point A to point B way, way faster, right? So on the aspect of mentors, and personal development, those 2 people helped me tremendously. And not only that, I've also joined a program by Sam Ovens. It's called Consulting Accelerator, and week 2 of that, it also changed my whole paradigm of thinking and gave me a lot more knowledge, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And once I went through that week, I got a lot of valuable information as to, what most people do and what most people think, and what the right way of thinking really is in order to grow, right? And then again, that's an objective point of view that's outside of our perception. So that's really mindset, and what this causes us to do is to really shift your identity, right? A lot of us think that, we can never really change as a person, and we're just like something static, and we're just, what we've grown up to be and what our parents tell us we are. But, instead, if we actively work on it, you'll realize that you can really become wherever you want to be. And this is also what Maslow's hierarchy of needs shows, and that's like, another topic for another video, but it's really valuable and worth looking up. So the second one is emotions. And, outside of running my agency, I also coach a lot of people, and a lot of people just can't seem to do the work, right? Also, we'll make a separate video about this. And this has to do with their drive, right? They just wake up, work in another agency, and want to get clients because that seems to be the answer to all their happiness. But if you look back as to why you started your business, there was an emotional attachment to it that something of the money could do for you, right? That resource. And once you actively see what you're doing it for, it will always motivate you instead of something temporary like money, right? That's not going to keep you on your feet. So what was really key for me at the complete start is to have something as a motivation. And I wasn't really aware that it was going to be so valuable to me, but it was actually my mother, right? That passed away when I was about 12, 11 years old. And, just always having a picture of her with me while things got hard or, before bed, so I could always get motivated, truly helped me in staying motivated for, instance, waking up at 5:30 a.m. or, going into a meeting even though I didn't want to, go to the meeting. It's funny, like I used to just set meetings, and then when a meeting happened, I didn't want to go because I was too afraid. So that's kind of ironic, but then, my drive actually just knew what the right thing was and helped me push to go to that point so I could do the right thing, right? Because we as humans always take the path of least natural resistance, and that's exactly what was happening to me, but my drive just pointed me in the right direction, right? And then a why, right? So I just had a call actually an hour ago. This is also with a student of mine, Louis, great guy. And, I asked him, so what are you doing all this for? And he didn't really have an answer, right? It was kind of fake. And if you cannot answer the question of why are you doing all this for? Why are you investing all this money, time, energy, these valuable resources? Why are you doing it? If you can't really, be very specific on it, then it's kind of hard to also stay consistent, right? So, and we as humans, we always act out of emotion most of the time, right? When we try to overcome a challenge or build something or, start a valuable relationship. So this was really a key thing for me to really, work actively on and help me stay consistent in my business, right? Because this is also a quote that probably a lot of people know, but it's that you do not have business problems. It's just personal problems reflecting back into your business. And, that's just grabbing it by the core of it and then really actively just seeing what's wrong and fixing it, right? And then number 3, sacrifices. So, as I just mentioned 5 seconds ago, you don't really have, business problems, you have personal problems. And, if you've got a bad habit or, bad friends, then it's kind of hard to really become the person you want to become. As I said, we're nothing static. You can change. All it takes is a decision, right? That's the core of it. And this often comes from bad habits and addictions. And as most of you know, as you know my story, we'll also make a video on this. I had a porn addiction, I had a gaming addiction, and I had depression. And, I really had to overcome all of these things before I could become the person I wanted to become, right? So it takes from you to also sacrifice things that do not contribute to the goal, right? So ask yourself, what am I doing all this for? What's the goal? And then sacrifice what's necessary, whether that may be a person or multiple persons. Bad habits or addictions, they have to be sacrificed in order to conserve that energy and time so it can be spent doing the right thing, right? So that's number 3, sacrifices. And then simplicity, and I love this one, and you're gonna hear this one a lot on this channel, okay? And, first thing that you can see right here is having one goal, right? It's kind of like, as I said, not practical, which I'm also going to be mentioning a lot, to have 5 goals, do 5 different things, start 5 different businesses, listen to 20 different podcasts, and expect to, like really smash all of them. It's, just not realistic. So start with one goal. Once you can, actually go from point A to point B with one goal, you can actually start setting real expectations of yourself that you can maybe crush 2 at the same time, right? One personal development wise, one business wise, okay? And what also simplicity allows you to do is to have lesser variables. So a great example is, a morning routine. I started, with my morning routine after reading the book, The Miracle Morning, also a great book, I recommend. And it really just gave me 4 or 5 things to do in the morning, which was great. And then I was like, wow, it's making me feel so good. I'm feeling so productive. I'm feeling like I'm actually changing. Let me just add some more things, right? And that's where it got complex. And when there's more variables involved, my consistency will actually deviate from the main thing. And that's just like completing the morning routine from point A to point B, right? And so if you keep things simple, and this is not only with your morning routine, also with your business, just understanding the 3 or 4 things that move the needle for you, you're gonna be more consistent, you're gonna just conserve more energy and invest into the right thing. And perhaps you can even like open up more tasks to do throughout the day, like, work on email marketing for a consulting business or agency, and just really go ahead and invest the energy into that, right? This also has to do with academic thinking. We think that, doing more things will get us like a bigger result, but that's anything but true, right? When it comes down to practice. And then the last thing I actually wanted to go ahead and mention, that is goals, and it's really important. So as you can see here again, which I'm probably mentioning like for the 20th time in this video, it's practice beats theory any day, right? And really everything, like what I've written down here is everything I've done myself. And this is all really applicable to practice, especially like with how I contextualize it. So you can just take it with you and implement it. And if you've got any questions, feel free to just like comment down below and I'll happily answer them for you. But this is like a really important thing to understand. When you try to set a goal or when you try to complete a task, is this realistic and possible, right? So now we're gonna be talking about expectation versus intent, right? So what a lot of people naturally do is they set an expectation, right? So let's say it's June, today's June 3rd, I believe, and let's say I wanna hit 50K this month, right? What's gonna happen is I'm gonna set an expectation and there's only cons to it. There's no benefits to setting an expectation, but the fact that you get stressed out and under stress you perform well. But the thing with expectations is that if you set an expectation, you'll first of all be pressurized in completing it, because there's a deadline. And second of all, if you don't hit it, there's true, pure, genuine disappointment, right? So instead of having expectation with your business, personal development, even relationships, anything in life, honestly, you need to replace it with intent, right? If I just focus on the right things that move the needle in my business and that's all you truly can do, then, my intent will be replaced for expectation. And, I can simply go ahead and still make 50K a month with all those unnecessary emotions, right? And I'll have more energy to focus on the right things. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is raising your standards, right? So once you actually start changing all of these gradually, consistently, and, specifically how you want to design your life, you're going to be raising your standards, right? So let me just give you a practical example. So, when I say raising standards, for instance, when I get like a $3,000 invoice paid from a client, then, I first started getting really excited. Like I remember at the start, I got really excited, because it's a huge amount of money. And I thought, wow, this is insane. This is actually happening to me, right? So going from like a supermarket job to getting $3,000 invoice paid. But then it started happening for like 1 or 2 months consistently, and then 3 to 6 months, and then it became like kind of a standard, like a hygiene standard, right? Just as like you brush your teeth, making 40K a month, going from 0 to 5 to 10K to 20K to 40K, it all started to get true by raising my standards, right? So guys, just to like sum up the whole video, these all have played a huge role in where I'm today. And I know they're all like, personal development things and just general life things. And this is nothing to do with technical, as I said. Got great videos on my YouTube channel you can go ahead and check out. But, in order to change, you need to change as a person. And so it starts with you and not a program or a course. It starts with you, right? And these are the five key things that have massively helped me to go from point A to point B. So I hope you liked that video where I discussed 5 main things that really helped me go from point A to point B. And just the last thing I wanted to announce, guys, is that once again, a couple of spots have opened up for the Agency Cultivation Mentorship Program. So if you're interested in actually leveling up your agency or consulting business, you can go ahead, go to the description, schedule a call personally with myself, and I'll see if I can actually help you or not. Once again, guys, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.